away under the Tiger belt. You know, we sort of missed out on the salad course yesterday, but no matter who wins or loses, the White Star Refining Company and its allied Mobil Gas and Mobil Oil dealers are bringing you the game. And
hey, what's going on tonight, guys? How we doing? As you know, tonight we're gonna do a little talking baseball with the guys tonight on Sports Talking With. And tonight we're going to go over the 1949 and below debut of the Major League Baseball greatest lineups that we would run out there. Tonight we're bringing in guest Logan.
What's up, Logan? Motherfucker?
How we doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. I'm half drunk, and it's only Sunday at it is 8:00. Never mind. We're good. We're good.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, and our next guest we're bringing in tonight, we're bringing in Ryan. What's going on, my man?
What's going on, man? I'm not half drunk because I'm still hungover from last night, so I have a raging headache. But
why do you have a hangover? Why did you ever stop to begin with?
Because I'm old, man. I'm old. I used to have a huge alcohol problem anyway, so.
I'm a bartender, so I'm naturally an alcoholic.
Yeah, I was in the military, so.
Oh, yeah. You got another reason.
All right, guys. So we got a raging hangover. We got a nice buzz going on in the upper corner, and I just got off work, and here we go. So, what'd you guys think of this little thing I came up with tonight? What went through your minds?
Interesting. I kind of studied baseball's history, like just on my own time for a while, so I already knew like most of the names that I was going to put in there. But that closing pitcher thing kind of that closing pitcher before 1950, dude, was threw me for a loop. I was like, man, alive.
I have one, but that's the only one, and I only know him from a famous World Series closeout. So, but for me, like a couple years ago, I was bored one day, and I don't even remember why I did it, but I just made like a top 5 list of top 5 players from each decade just for my own amusement. And so it was kind of easy to make this kind of a lineup for me, at least.
Yeah, I have about 2,000 baseball cards too that I used to reorganize weekly, so I memorized a lot of the numbers on the back too and whatnot, and a lot of the names and dates and whatnot. So
I did not have this kind of time on my hand as a kid.
It was the only thing that I made it a point to do in my free time was to just look through thousands of baseball cards.
I did thousands of baseball cards.
I think I was just high one night, and I was like, I'm going to do this. This is what high Logan does, is he just, starts playing with baseball numbers and stuff.
Uses the mind, Logan. Use the mind.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's good. So, so since the Yankees did win, that means the AL will be home tonight. So we're going to go over our NL lineups first.
Okay.
I went with Lou Campanella as my catcher. 1948 Hall of Famer, 259 home runs, 3 times MVP. Who you guys got?
Bat and leadoff.
I was just going catcher, first base, second base. That's what I was used to, but. If you want to do it that way, we can. I can mix things up, but
we can do if you want to, we can do the rosters first and then do the lineups.
I figured if we did it in lineup order, we're getting, knocking out
that's fine.
Two birds, one stone, whatever the fuck that saying is.
That's fine. We can do that. We can do that. Well, I already said my catcher, so I guess that's who's batting leadoff for me.
Yeah,
I've never had a catcher batting leadoff, but
the only catcher I think I would ever bat leadoff is probably Joe Mauer.
I think he was leadoff, wasn't he?
He was.
Well, it's not too bad of a start. I mean, he did bat 283, so maybe I want him batting 5th or 6th. All right, so my leadoff hitter I'm going to switch it, and I would go to Jackie Robinson.
Ooh.
Solid.
2-time stolen base. Obviously, the numbers retired everywhere. He was a 1949 MVP. He did win the World Series in '55. 6-time All-Star. I guess that's a pretty good leadoff hitter.
Yeah. For me, I would go Eno Slaughter. He did split time in the AL, but he did play more in the NL for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
He was a 10-time All-Star, 4-time World Series champ, Hall of Famer, bat 300 for his career. Not too much pop, 169 home runs, but got on base at a 382 clip. So, a little bit of pop, a little bit of speed, good on base guy, good guy to, start the lineup up.
For me, I'm going to go with Hannes Wagner as my leadoff guy. Great shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I believe that's what the team became. Let's see, Hannes Wagner. I didn't even look to see what his stats was, but
You mean like 33,430 at bats? I mean hits.
yeah,
1909 World Series, 5-time.
He got that off the top of his head. He don't even need to look at.
yeah, right. 328 career batting average, 391 on base, 467 slugging, 858 OPS, and a 151 OPS plus. I believe he had a lot of stolen bases too. 723 stolen bases.
He was also 8 times NL and 8 times National League hitting leader.
Yeah,
batting leader.
yeah. So
I would have him batting second, Logan.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have him in your number 2 spot?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
All right. Well, I do have Honus Wagner a little bit down the lineup, but my number 2 spot's going to Stan the Man, Stan Musial.
I like you.
Yeah. So Stan Musial, 976 OPS, 159 OPS plus, 3-time MVP, 24-time All-Star, 7-time batting champion. And, he missed some time. He missed one season due to military service. But, this guy was just an absolute machine. He made the All-Star game every year except his rookie year. So, I mean, when you are 24-time All-Star, that's probably bound to happen. But, yeah, Stan the Man is –
would have won Rookie of the Year if it existed back in the day.
Probably. It just taking a quick glance at it, he hit 315, slugged 490, was 12th in MVP voting. So, that's kind of impressive as a rookie.
He had 3,630 hits too.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that one. I did.
Yeah, he had 725 doubles. Not much of a speed guy, but when you do everything else extremely well, what does it matter?
Yeah, I love this is kind of not even a stat, but something I love to watch, especially on Stan Musial's page. Is in 1943 he played 157 games, and he only struck out 18 times in that entire season.
The dude was an elite level contact hitter. The ball Tony Gwynn before Tony Gwynn. He only struck out less times than doubles he had for his career. He had 725 doubles and 696 strikeouts. So dude's insane.
Stan Musial is my number 2 guy too. Also, my favorite player of all time. So,
okay, are you a Cardinals fan?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the VSN crew is pretty much out of St. Louis.
Yeah,
I respect the Cardinals. I don't hate them like I should, especially after 2011. But
Phillies. Yeah. Oh, you guys had just won 2 years before.
Yeah, but that Roy Halladay, Chris Carpenter game is easily the best game that I think I've ever watched in my entire life. It's
a great game. I love watching that game. I had ulcers throughout the entire game, especially when Ryan Howard came up in the 9th. But that was a good game.
I think the best part about that game was the run was scored in the very first inning on the triple and then the double.
Triple by Skip Schumacher.
Yeah, Skip Schumacher and John Jay, I think it was.
Yep. It was a great game.
I would have Musial batting third, guys.
Are you just
Yeah.
going to copy everything that
Yeah,
we say
right.
now?
No, I'm looking over all my stats on my board. I didn't put in order. I just put catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield,
Yeah.
outfield, closing pitcher, starting pitcher,
I'm
and
not.
and DH. So it's kind of my fault that I didn't have a lineup ready to go, but I'm looking at it now as I'm making it as we go. So
That's fair.
Um,
For me, number 3 was Mel Ott. Just an absolute beast at the plate. 304 career lifetime hitter, 533 slugging, 511 home runs, just shy of 3,000 hits at 2,876. He never actually won an MVP, which kind of surprised me when I looked at this. But Hall of Famer, 12-time All-Star, playing for the New York Giants. That's weird to say when talking about baseball. But
yeah, right.
yeah. I mean, another guy that for power hitters, this is pretty good. He only struck out 896 times. He walked 1,708 times. So, little fun fact though, he did get caught stealing more times than he actually stole bases. So that's a little interesting. But
Why would-
1,860 RBIs. Yeah, Mel Ott was.
I'm just curious, Ryan. Why wouldn't you want him in your 4 slot with 511 home runs?
Because you'll hear who's in my 4 slot, and then you'll probably be like, okay, that makes sense. Plus, I think Mel Ott's just a great all-around hitter, so I'd save him for the 3 spot. I think kind of like what the Royals did with George Brett about 3 or 4 years in his career, where they started batting him in the leadoff spot. Your leadoff hitter is going to get the most plate appearances throughout a season. So if we're talking strictly one game, I think batting Mel Ott third gives him the most opportunity to produce runs, and at the same time gives him the chance to see maybe an extra plate appearance.
Yeah. Mel Ott is a great one. For me, I felt like there was only one person in the NL who could be in the 3rd spot, and that's Ducky Joe Medwick. Is it Ducky? Yeah. Joe, Triple Crown winner, the last Triple Crown winner to ever win it in the NL. MVP, I mean, let's see, he has a career. Oh, there it is. 324 batting average, 362 on base, 867 OPS, and a 134 OPS plus. 205 home runs, 1,383 RBIs. MVP, Triple Crown, Hall of Famer, won the World Series in 1934. I mean, with the Gas House Gang. So that's my guy.
Obviously, I asked for that home run guy in the 4 slot, so I'm putting Mel out there.
All right, I can predict who his 5th hitter is going to be.
Yeah, right.
I know, maybe.
Actually, that's probably where we'll start to differ, and I'd believe it. So my 5th hitter is Ralph Kiner.
Who's in your 4 slot?
Or start, yeah, my 4th hitter is Ralph Kiner. Now I'm all screwed up. Yeah, Ralph Kiner. He only had 369 home runs, but he also played half the seasons that Mel Ott did. So on a per season basis, and I think he led the league in home runs 7 of his first 8 years or something like that. Dude was just an absolute beast at the plate. Only hit 279 for his career, but slugged almost 550. So 369 home runs, 1,015 RBIs. He was kind of all or nothing, spent most of his career with your Pirates. And did lead the league in strikeouts one time. So that I think in order to hit 4th in my lineup, you have to do that at least once.
All right. Logan?
For me, it's Rogers Hornsby. I don't mean to be going Cardinals, but I mean, Rogers Hornsby is kind of somebody that you have to have. I mean, probably before Babe Ruth was the greatest, they were thinking, and for some reason my computer is not pulling up Rogers Hornsby. There it is. I mean, he was considered the greatest baseball player of all time before Babe Ruth came in. And I guess that pissed him off. No, I'm just kidding. Career, he had a 301 home runs, 1,584 RBIs, 358 batting average, 1.010 OPS with a 175 career OPS plus, 2-time MVP, 2-time Triple Crown, 7 batting titles, and 1926 World Series championship with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, and I think I already touched on it. A career OPS of over 1,000. So in that
Yeah.
day and age, that's unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
That's actually
I
who
went-
my fifth hitter is. So
Nice.
I went with I'm in my fifth slot. I'm in debation here. I kind of like Chuck Klein to be there.
okay, that's a good one.
320 batting average, 300 home runs, over 2,000 hits, and 1,201 RBIs. Hall of Fame, definitely, and he had an MVP year. I feel he'd be good in the fifth slot there.
Yeah, Chuck Klein was a beast.
That was my DH, just to let you know.
My
yeah, we
DH,
have a DH.
yeah, my DH was Ralph Kiner. I didn't say that. But as I touched on, my fifth hitter was Rogers Hornsby. Dude was just an absolute animal of a baseball player, complete five-tool player. Played outstanding defense too. So
Yeah. My fifth guy is Mel Lott for the exact same reasons Ryan said. So yeah.
All right. We're at the sixth hole. I'm going with Paul Wainer. 1926, got in the league, Hall of Famer, MVP. It's over 3,152 hits, 333 average, and 1,300 RBIs. Not a bad six-spot hitter there.
yeah, for me, the six-spot guy is going to be Johnny Mize playing first base. 359 career home runs, hit 312 for his career, almost a 400 on base percentage guy, slugged 562. Led the league in intentional walks 3 times, and also led the league in OPS 3 times. He's a 10-time All-Star. He's 5-time World Series champ. He's won a batting title. He's a Hall of Famer for the St. Louis, and then he did split time in New York at the end of his career, but he wasn't nearly as efficient.
He was also out for 3 years on military.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with this era is like a lot of those guys, your Stan Musels, a lot of the the big ballers for the Yankees in this era, they're going to miss time because
Yeah. World War II.
It's amazing they still had that many hits and they missed 3 years of ball.
I mean these dudes, their hitting was just different then. It's not even close to what it is now. You'll never see. Outside of your Pujols, Cabrera type people, you'll never see anybody hit for 3,000 hits again. It won't happen.
Yeah, it's a different game for sure.
I would say Barry Bonds' record gets broken before somebody has 3,000 hits in their career.
The home run record. I don't think anyone's going to catch him in walks.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Who you got in the sixth hole, Logan?
In the sixth hole, I'm going to go with. Oh, I can't go with him. Well, shoot on. I was going to go with Willie Mays because it said he was a part of the team in 1948, but he didn't start playing for the Giants until later.
1951. I looked at him too. I was like, I don't want to leave Mays out if I can't, but he came in. He played in the NAL, and then he came to the 51? I think it said.
Yeah, Mays and
50,
Mantle were the two that just missed it. I knew Mantle had missed it, but I wasn't sure about Mays either.
Let's see here. Man. You're gonna have to skip me for a second there, because I don't have a fifth guy right now. I'm losing it. I thought I had it and then I lost it.
Honestly, I think for the next one, you should do like 1950 to like 1980.
I was looking over that and I was thinking
you could absolutely slam a lineup with people just in the 70s. Like we're talking Stargell, McCovey, Schmidt. You could just hammer a whole lineup with just the 70s.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to go after this one.
I know who it is. The next one is Jackie Robinson. He probably could have been higher in the lineup, but I figure he was so good and so durable that in the bottom of the lineup he would be helpful there.
I mean, when you're building an all-star team, your eight
Yeah.
guy is going to be a fantastic hitter, especially over the span of 70 years.
Yeah. Figure the bases are going to be loaded for him, and he's going to just drive in a double down the line. So, anyways, that's my thought process.
In the 7th hole, I'm going with Stan Hack. 1932, 2,193 hits, 5 times All-Star, average of 301.
Yeah.
And he's playing third for me.
Yeah, I looked at Stan Hack too before I settled on Hornsby.
Connor. No. Oh, that's right. You want Connors in your
Yeah,
DH
Connors
spot.
DH. Number 7 for me, Honus Wagner. Complete ball player. This is an interesting stat. One year he had 6 home runs and 126 RBIs. I mean, he was just
6 home runs and 106 RBIs.
126 RBIs.
26. Damn.
The home run to RBI ratio there is insane, and that just tells that's a guy that's just going to get the job done.
Just tell me they were all solo shots, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, right?
If he drove in 120 runs just from singles, doubles, and triples, that'd be insane. But yeah, no, I mean Hornsby's a hell of a ball player, fantastic. Or no, not Hornsby. I mean he was, but Wagner's fantastic. He was in the MVP running 3 times. Didn't actually win it, but 8-time batting champ, Hall of Famer. 3,420 hits. Not much can't be said about him. That there's a book on him, Honus and Me.
Yeah.
Those are really good books, by the way.
He's got a real expensive card too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he does. That rookie card though.
Wish I was chewing back in that year, huh?
Yeah, right.
Logan, who you got in the 7th spot?
I have Duke Snyder.
Okay.
Let me hold on. I have his stats right here. Come on, there you are. Career 295 hit base hitter, but a 919 career OPS, 140 OPS plus. Oh my gosh, it's hard to read this thing. 407 home runs and 1,333 RBIs. Yeah, probably could have gone with someone else, but I liked him.
I'm going with Lou Campanella in my 8th spot. Hall of Famer, 259 home runs, 283 batting average, 3 times MVP. Pretty good catcher too.
Yeah, he's in my 9th spot actually. My 8th spot though is Jackie. I think one thing that doesn't really get thought up of enough about Jackie is how much better do you think he could have been had he not had to deal with all the shit that he was dealing with, especially obviously when he first came up. That I mean he was obviously hard as a rock about it, but the fact of the matter is it's in some way that had to have gotten to him and affected his performance even a little bit. So I think he potentially could have been better, had he not just broken down the color barrier and been involved in all that. So, but I mean, fantastic base runner, hustle guy, led the league in on-base percentage once, and as you've already covered, MVP, Hall of Famer, number retired everywhere, 7-time All-Star. So,
yeah. Now you guys can shoot this one down, but I'm gonna go with Josh. Well, no, I can't go with Josh Gibson. Never mind.
I thought about it. I was thinking about that too. Gibson was a beast, man.
Yeah, and then I mean, obviously he couldn't play because the color barrier, but
I read somewhere that he probably would have hit 800 home runs had he played in the MLB or something like that.
Yeah, everybody says that he was he was better than Babe Ruth. So, yeah. So, but give me 1 second. That's what happens whenever I do it on the fly. there's not a lot of great catchers in the NL. It seems like.
That's what I was telling Adam before we got on. I said, all in all, I think the NL was a little bit harder, but the left side of the infield there, the shortstop, third base side, they dominated that position for years. Like, it was so hard to pick who I wanted from the NL at short and third because they were just so stacked.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Bill Dickey then. Oh, wait. No, never mind. He was a Yankee. Never mind. Son of a bitch.
That's right. Bill Dickey was a Yankee.
Yep. Fitting name.
That's going to be an interesting choice there, too, once we get to AL.
What, the catcher?
Yeah.
I already know who the catcher is for the AL for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I know who it is, too.
Maybe his son played for the Pirates.
Did his son? Oh, okay. Hold on. Gabby Hartnett, I'm going to say.
In your A spot?
Yeah. 20-year career with the Chicago Cubs. 344 career batting average. Won the MVP in 1935. So, good job.
Who's batting 9 for you, Adam?
I have Johnny Mize. Turn the corner. Let's go.
It's a sick number 9 hitter. I have Campanella in 9. Hell of a leader, too. Not just, a good baseball player, but really own that the catcher position is like the captain of the field. So the first thing that you think about when you hear Campanella's names was his attitude.
Yeah.
I said he was such a leader, though.
Yeah, I think him and Pee Wee Reese were the first two to embrace Jackie.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I forgot about Pee Wee Reese.
I didn't forget about him. I just didn't think that he made the cut.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, like shortstop, third base in the NL this time frame was super nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Enos Slaughter.
Yeah.
He was just great. And for the reasons you just said earlier, Ryan, I mean, yeah, he was a great player.
Fantastic hitter.
Yeah. Would have been a great DH.
I went with Christy Mathewson.
Yeah.
Went with
Pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all went with the same guy.
Yeah. I mean, I was stuck between him and my favorite lefty of all time, Warren Spahn, but I went Mathewson. I went
with Walter Johnson. Oh wait, never mind. He's an AL. Son of a bitch. I thought he was an NL guy.
No, Washington was the center.
No, then the Senators were
American
League then.
Then I'm going to go with Mathewson.
There used to be stories told about how honest a player he was, that like if umpires like briefly missed a play or something, they would ask Mathewson like what the result of that play was. He'd even have his like dudes on the other team be safe and like his guys be out sometimes.
Yeah.
I really don't have a closer for the NL. I
have one.
I really don't. I
put Furpo Marbury just because cool ass name.
All right.
I have Grover Cleveland Alexander.
I mean, I guess
closed out the World Series in 1926 for the Cardinals. So,
like I said to Adam, back in that day, the starters were the closers. So
hold on, Christy Mathewson, had 4,780 innings.
Yeah, Mathewson was a beast.
I probably butchered his last. At 2.13 ERA, it's hard to 373 wins. I mean, that's just some crazy numbers.
79 career shutouts, 435 career complete games.
Yeah. Is it me or was the NL just super hard?
The NL was really hard. Like
the AL seems easy.
Shortstop, third base was really hard because there were so many choices. The rest of them were so hard because there was so little.
Yeah.
But Yeah, since you all picked Chrissy Mathewson, I'm just going to go Warren Spahn then. 363 career wins, 309 ERA, which isn't fantastic, but best lefty of all time, in my opinion. Sorry, Koufax lovers.
Yeah.
And then I do have to shout out my partner, Bill at BSing Sports, because he did make the NL lineup. I was slammed with schoolwork, and I told him, I'll pick AL, you pick NL. And he went at it and made a fantastic lineup. So
I just I thought you asked him if he wanted to come on, and I just asked him again. He's like, I gotta get up at 4 a.m.
yeah, he can't really join these 9 p.m. shows too much just because he does get up mad early for work. But
I feel bad, like I gotta change my time for him now. But this is like when I get home.
But yeah, so I figured he could make his presence known in the NL lineup. He did a fantastic job. So a lot of those choices, were once for me like right off the head. So thanks, Bill.
We'll be doing a show. Well, he asked me when we're doing a show together. So I'm going to be coming on your show apparently.
Cool.
I'm in. Whatever. All right, we're moving along here. So we have the NL lineup, and now let's work on the AL. I have Ty Cobb leading things off.
Yeah, I think everybody and their mom has Ty Cobb leading off. Dude's the best hitter of all time.
the 892 stolen bases too is a nice leadoff guy.
He's another one you think of attitude when you hear his name, but not in a very aggressive way. He was known for spiking dudes. He played baseball really hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say you always have those guys who wants to get on base no matter what, and he was definitely one of those guys, and he would do whatever he could to get on base and get that extra base. So, yeah, you definitely want that. Someone to cleat the other guy in the kneecap or something.
366 career hitter, which still leads all of baseball all time for a career batting average, and that will obviously never be broken again because
batting average is
the reason why I know. The reason why I was thinking about not having Ty Cobb as my leader because he did have almost 2,000 RBIs, 1938.
And Detroit had such a good team back then, so I think he probably batted third for them. But I think given the fact that these are a bunch of all-stars, give me the guy that sets the tone right away in terms of attitude and baseball ability. Give me that guy leading the team off.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Ty Cobb as my first. So yeah, it was no question.
Second spot, I have Jimmy Fox.
Really, in the 2?
Yeah,
I do.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I had him a little bit farther down.
Yeah, I have him in the 4 spot since we're going to go ahead and talk about it anyway. But yeah, I had Jimmy Fox in the 4 spot.
I had him at 6.
2,600 hits, 325 batting average, 3 times MVP. I think he'd be a good spot behind Cobb.
I think, for me, it was Ted Williams batting number 2. Obviously, 19-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, won the Triple Crown twice, batting title 6 times, 1,800 RBIs. OPS career-wise is 1.116. So, got on base at a 482 clip, slugged at 634. I mean, if Ty Cobb wasn't getting on base, he would have. It's one or the other. And he also missed time due to military service and had all 19 of his all-star appearances were within 20 seasons. The only time he missed it was 1952 when he played 6 games. So, but yeah, Ted Williams, one of the better hitters.
I know you threw out a lot of shout-outs there, but did you mention that he was a 6-time AL batting champ?
Yeah.
Who you got in your second hole there, buddy?
I have Shoeless Joe Jackson. I figured you guys weren't going to have him, but I wanted to give him some love.
I have him in my 5 spot.
Oh, do you? Sweet.
Yeah.
Career 940 OPS, 170 OPS plus. Probably if he had played longer in his career, he would have definitely earned himself a lot more respect and love. But 1919 Black Sox scandal, which is not nearly as bad as the Houston Astros 2017 scandal, put him out of baseball. But he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. He needs to be recognized. So Shoeless Joe Jackson for my number 2.
If he could read and write, he'd be the perfect human being.
Yeah, exactly.
He got the Field of Dreams after him.
Yeah. No, Joe Jackson was a hell of a ball player too.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him play
Yeah.
for sure. I have Teddy Williams in my third spot. Not to be following again.
I got Babe in the third spot. I'm not really going to go into depth about Babe Ruth, but
You shouldn't have to.
yeah, Babe Ruth is hitting number 3. Same reason I had Ott at number 3. Best all around hitter.
I have Babe Ruth at number 3 also. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you look at his baseball reference page, it's just
it's
all
insane.
gold.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's so nuts.
MVP, 7-time World Series champion.
ERA title.
He
Yeah.
batted 342.
Yeah, he has a career-wise, he leads all the league in slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. He has a career 206 OPS plus and a 1.164 career OPS.
I don't think people understand how hard, like the dead ball era, like you see all these other elite hitters we're talking about, outside of like your Ted Williams guys, and even they had a lot of home runs for the time period, but like Honus Wagner, 117 home runs, and the dead ball era was nuts. Like that's literally what it was, dead ball era, and the dude hit 700 home runs. If he was batting in the live ball era today, he would have 1,000 home runs, and it's not. You can't really debate it.
Yeah, even though he was playing in the Polo Grounds, it's still hard to hit, especially when you have that kind of a body like he did, where he wasn't the easiest thing to do was run around the bases. But Babe Ruth for sure.
I thought he would have had more hits than that. He only had 2,800 and what? Where'd he go?
2,000.
873.
Well, I mean, he got walked a crap ton too.
Oh, I'm sure.
He had over 2,000 career walks.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't see that stat.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Because I looked at it too, and I was like, you know what? I bet you it's because he's gotten walked a ton. And then I just looked at his walks. Led the league like 12 times.
Only a 2-time All-Star, which is weird to think. I mean, obviously the All-Star game wasn't invented until he was in it,
33.
but still. Yeah. But yeah, Babe Ruth. Is he the greatest player of all time? I don't mean to hijack the whole thing, but is he the greatest player?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For someone I've never seen and read a lot about, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Like when you think baseball, like you think the great Bambino, it's like one of the first names that comes up. And, any other name really associated with it is either like in the 40s or, nowadays like Bonds, or something like that. But Babe Ruth kind of stands out, and he was a hell of a pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Logan, I don't care. You can ask all the questions you want, buddy.
No, I know. I didn't want to just hijack it.
No, it's okay. I felt bad because I think I did that on the last show that I was on with Adam. I was like, I'm just like,
oh, that's fine. I don't. More talk the merrier. I'm just here to listen, learn, and engage.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like taking a seat back, even though it's my show.
Because for me, because the other day I was talking with Josh about this, and he's my co-host on the 7th Inning Stretch, Ryan. And I was like, is Babe Ruth really the greatest player of all time? Because it was definitely a different era.
Way different.
Like the pitching, there was not nearly as many, off-speed pitches, and players weren't throwing 102 miles an hour, or even the upper 90s, it seemed like.
I think when it comes to that question, though, you got to analyze like based on the other players that also played in that era. Babe Ruth is head and shoulders above, pretty much every name that we've talked about and are probably going to talk about. He's a vastly superior hitter, and like I touched on already, he was a fantastic pitcher too. So and you don't see that very often ever. So I think already being just a better hitter than everybody and then being able to go out on the mound and do it too it's not a question. He was far superior in his era than any other player was.
Well, yeah,
Maybe post steroids Bonds,
Yeah.
but it took Bonds being on steroids to do that.
to catch him. Yeah.
I remember what was that? Babe Ruth threw one pitch and got ejected, and the guy came in after him and threw the no hitter, but he didn't get credit for the no hitter because he wasn't the starting pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the name. I don't have the names off my head, but I just remember reading that incident of what happened. I don't know who the pitcher was.
You might know it, but do you know who Harvey Haddix is, Logan?
Harvey Haddix.
Through the greatest pitched game ever and lost.
Oh,
do you know who he is, Adam?
I know he's a Pirate. I know he's a Pirate.
12 perfect innings against the Milwaukee Braves.
That's right.
The Hank Aaron lineup with a Hall of Famer and 3 All-Stars in there.
And it went like extra innings. And
12 perfect innings, and he lost the game in the 13th.
Gosh.
Dude, I would have retired. I probably would have just gone absolutely ballistic on every position player that picked up a bat that game. I would have just absolutely lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be extra motivation. But back on Babe Ruth, he has a career 206 OPS plus, and OPS plus. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but that's 100 is supposed to be what the average player is, and so when for whatever number you are above 100, that's what percentage you are. So Babe Ruth is 106% better than the average player was in his time. And that's pretty great because we just talked about some of the greatest players of all time in the NL lineup, and we're about to talk about them in the AL lineup, and the fact that Babe Ruth jumps above them is pretty in such a big gap too. It's not just a little bit of a gap; it's a big gap.
For reference, for those modern baseball fans out there watching, Mike Trout's OPS plus is 176 for his career, and he's considered to be the best player of this generation. So that just goes to show you how much better Babe Ruth is than Mike Trout was.
Well, I think even Albert Pujols back in the 2000s had a 171 OPS plus. And the fact that he's better than Albert Pujols is just outstanding.
That's wow. I have Babe Ruth in my 4th spot.
Yeah, I have Jimmy Fox in my 4th spot. I had his stats up somewhere before we started talking about Babe Ruth. I'll bring him back up here in a second. Hang on. I think somebody already touched on Jimmy Fox though. So
Jimmy Fox.
We kind of touched on it.
Yeah, 325 hitter, 163 OPS plus, 3-time MVP, 9-time All-Star, won a Triple Crown, 2-time World Series MVP, Hall of Famer, 1,900 RBIs, 534 home runs. Seems like the perfect guy to, if Babe ain't going to get it done for whatever reason, he will. If they want to walk Babe Ruth, that's fine. It's fantastic. Jimmy Fox is a fantastic ball player too. He played both corner positions as well, so he had some defensive versatility.
Yeah, I think you guys are crazy right now. I have Lou Gehrig in the 4th spot.
I have him in my 5th spot.
Yeah.
Well, I had Jimmy Fox playing first and Babe Ruth DHing, so.
Oh, okay, that's why.
But I'll tell you what. I think Lou Gehrig was a fantastic ball player. If he didn't have that game streak, he'd be a little less popular than what he actually is. That's my take on Lou Gehrig.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
He had 1,500 based on balls, 340 batting average, 2 MVPs, 493 home runs.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination he doesn't belong in anybody's all-star lineup, but I think Lou Gehrig gets talked about a lot, like the Iron Horse, and his game streak is really what's talked. I guess what I should be saying is his game streak is talked about more than his actual play.
Yeah.
So
Triple Crown winner, 2-time MVP, 179 career OPS with a 1.080 OPS.
yeah, I mean, Gehrig was just a good hitter. And
Yeah.
it's a shame that his career had to end the way that it did. I mean,
Yeah.
at least he had a long, good career, but
1923 to 39. So, yeah, 38 technically because he only played in 8 games in 1939, but still.
Then he had the speech right in 39
Yeah.
yep, he's the luckiest
on-
man on the face of the earth.
on the 4th of July.
Yep.
But I think I had Joe Jackson 5th. Yeah. Damn shame what happened to him.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I have Lou Gehrig in my 5th hole. Who you got, Ryan?
Joe Jackson.
Oh, you just said that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Low?
For me, number 5, Ted Williams. Yeah, that speaks for itself. I mean, he wasn't a good defender, and he even said it. But I mean, he wrote a book, and that still to this day on how to hit. And Joey Votto credits him for that. He talks about how that book changed his whole perspective of it, even as a grown man when he's already been in the majors. And Ted Williams hasn't even played in 70 years. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. And yeah, great player. Should have won a World Series, except he played against the Cardinals in the World Series, so that happened.
All right. So what are we on? 6 spot, guys?
6.
What's that?
6, yeah.
I have Joe DiMaggio.
Jolton Joe.
Let's see. We got Hall of Famer, 3 times MVP, 325 base average, 2,214 hits.
Oh, wait. So which one do you have playing center, Joe or Ty?
Does it really matter?
No, not really.
I mean, I would put Ted Williams in right field and Joe in center field just because Ted Williams did not care about his
Ted
fielding.
Williams was a terrible defender, but
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like he didn't make up for it offensively, so I'll give him a pass.
I probably
Oh,
would put Ted Williams in right and have Cobb in left and then DiMaggio in center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you guys would do?
No, I had Joe Jackson in left. I think he was a better defender than DiMaggio was.
Yeah.
So where do you have Cobb, right?
No, Cobb's in center, and then
Yeah.
Williams is in right.
Joe Jackson left, Ty Cobb in center, Ty Cobb in center, and Ted Williams in right.
Yeah.
Did you already go, Ryan?
For what spot? Number 6?
6?
Yeah.
I got college boy Eddie Collins playing second base in the number 6 spot. Hall of Famer, 6-time World Series champion. He was an MVP. Played for the Philadelphia Athletics, got traded to Chicago, was one of the few not involved with the scandal, simply because he was already getting paid what he should have been getting paid. Career 333 hitter, got on base at a 424 clip. Just shy of 1,300 RBIs for his career. It stole 741 bases, including 81 in a season. So he also is the all-time leader in sacrifice bunts. So
Well, that's a nice little stat right there.
yeah, probably could have been better suited for the 2-hole, but I'm gonna take Ted Williams in the 2-hole instead of putting him in the 6th spot. So
All right. Who you got, Lou?
I have Joe DiMaggio also. So
Very nice. I went with my 7th spot. I went with Charlie Gehringer. Played for Detroit for 19 years. 1924 batting average of 320. Hall of Famer, 6 All-Star games. I thought that'd be a nice little fill-in touch. You can yell at me. That's fine.
for me,
I butchered his last name probably.
For me in the 7th spot, I had Jimmy Collins. He did spend some time in the NL, but he spent most of it in the AL from 1895 to 1908. So I really tried to, dig deep there for this one. But considering he played in the 19th century, not some bad numbers there. 983 RBIs, 294 hitter, 409 slugging. So he didn't really have the pop, and he wasn't, as good average wise as some of these other guys. So that's why he's down the lineup a little bit. But he's a fantastic defender from what I'm reading anyway. Not that I was able to watch baseball in 1895, but
Yeah, right.
Seemed like he had good numbers though, Rob.
yeah, I mean, especially for playing, 2 centuries ago.
Do you think here's an off the wall question? Do you think these guys didn't get traded and stayed with one team because it was so hard to pack up and move because you had to get on a train and didn't have cars? Do you think that's why these trades didn't go through like they do nowadays?
No, I just don't think that the market was as big for it. Like I think loyalty essentially was more of a thing back then. Trades just didn't happen simply because, you didn't see like teams going through these rebuilding phases. Like money was, there was a soft cap, but there was it was a little bit more even throughout baseball. You didn't see these guys trying to like offload these players that they were going to have to pay huge contracts to. And, just the politics and the business behind it. So
I was just wondering what you guys thought about that.
But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, go ahead.
I think also you didn't really have a lot of, statistics to help you say, oh, this guy is better than the guy I have now. And I need to, because there was no internet back then. It was hard to keep track. I don't even know how Baseball Reference and some of these other places just was able to be able to tell all this stuff, even back then. So I think that also helped. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to gauge how good this player is compared to this guy, when all you had was batting average, but strikeouts and home runs and all that stuff.
And
that was my next question too. Like, what do you think? What stats do you think they kept during this era? Like, I
wouldn't be surprised if they didn't keep any. Like, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Like, if these stats weren't formulated until like 40, 50 years later, but.
Well, you see like these guys have like, Rogers Hornsby had 2 Triple Crowns. Lou Gehrig had a Triple Crown. Like back in these days, like everybody had a Triple Crown basically. Yeah. And so they all had, which means that they led the league in home runs, RBIs, and batting average. So those were the 3 things that they thought were important. At the time.
Those probably, I was going to say they probably didn't calculate the averages back then. They probably kept track of just the hits and the at-bats, and average kind of came a little bit down the road later, I feel like. And then that they kind of, backdated it essentially to, because we don't hear about those Triple Crown guys from the early 1900s. We hear about the Ted Williams, the guys in the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, did Honus Wagner know that he won or Roger Hornsby know that he won a Triple Crown? Like,
that's true. Well, I figured that. They would say they probably didn't call it batting average. They probably said, "Oh, he hits 35% of the time," or something like that.
Something weird off the wall, like
or 35 hits out of 120 at bats or something like that. That's what they say. I don't know what they would have said back then, but that's my thought.
And, free agency wasn't a thing until 1975. So baseball was played for almost 100 years without free agency.
Yeah.
And that's why the longevity of being on a team probably was so key.
Yeah, players had no say in where they were going.
Yeah. Curt Flood definitely made it more interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That was just one. Like, my original thought was, did you guys think it was too hard to pack up and move because you had to go by train?
I'm sure that helped too.
Yeah, I'm sure that helped. If it's taken 2 days for your return player to get across the country, I wouldn't be, so quick to pull a trigger either.
Then you got to wait for the train.
Yeah, right.
So. All right. Where we at? An A spot, boys?
Yeah. In
Yeah.
case I didn't say it, my 7 is Jimmy Fox.
Jimmy Fox. All right. Sorry, I thought you got that in there. I'm sorry.
I don't remember if I did. I feel like I did, but I just want to make sure.
Sorry, I interrupted with a question. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I have Joe Cronin batting 8th, shortstop, 7-time All-Star, 301 batting average, 1,400 RBIs. I wouldn't feel too bad with that in my A spot.
Yeah, my shortstop is also hitting 8th. It's Phil Rizzuto. He was not a great hitter by any stretch of the imagination. His OPS plus is actually slightly below replacement level, but the dude played outstanding defense.
So who would he be compared to nowadays?
I mean, I'd look at him like probably Omar Vizquel.
First name that popped into my mind is a better defenseman with Jack Wilson.
I think Omar Vizquel is like the king of shortstop defense.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I was just, quick name.
Yeah. Vizquel's criminally going to be robbed of the Hall of Fame for his entire career. It's sad that defense isn't valued the way that it should be. I think that's why third basemen are kept out of the Hall of Fame too, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
Who you got, Logan?
Speaking of third baseman, I have Home Run Baker.
Okay.
I never even heard of him, but he has a career 805 OPS and a 135 OPS plus.
Frank Baker, I think it was.
Let's see. Son of a bitch! It doesn't even show his fucking name. Full name: John Franklin Baker.
Yeah, John Franklin Baker. They call him Frank Baker.
His name was Home
Ryan
Run.
knows his baseball, man. It's pretty sick. I love the knowledge, dude.
He's got 96 career home runs for Home Run Baker, but he led the league between 1911 and 1913. He had 11 home runs in 1911, 10 in 1912, and 12 in 1913, and that earned him the name Home Run Baker.
You know what? It's crazy. You see all these guys with these like 6 and 7 home run seasons, and then it's just mind blowing that Rod Carew is the only bat champion to never hit a home run the season he wins the batting title.
Yeah, like home runs were. That's another reason why people looked at Babe Ruth as the greatest player of all time, was just because he smashed home runs.
Yeah.
That was kind of nuanced back then. Well, you don't like Babe Ruth, Adam?
No, I was laughing at this. Riley Chris, the kid who covered the Angels for me, just left a comment.
He said that on our last show too.
He did. That's right. Him and Gina went at it for a little bit. The Angels and Giants.
Are the Chargers still in LA?
I didn't even.
I don't even. Are they? Okay. I don't follow football anymore, so
it's funny because I have a buddy from St. Louis. He's a massive Cardinals fan too, and he's also stopped following the NFL in 2015 when the Rams left.
Yeah, right. Well, I stopped watching football just because I was tired of watching about 20,000 flags being thrown every 5 seconds, and then commercials going on.
Dude, NFL Red Zone would change your life.
Will it?
Yeah, there's no commercials for 7 consecutive hours.
Ooh, I need to do that.
And you just sit there, and if your eyes can keep up with it, Logan, and you can watch every game.
They'll go like 8 boxes sometimes and put
Yeah.
on like all 8 early games. It's nuts.
I've thought about it.
My dad hates that channel, to be honest.
Dude,
because my dad's old school. He's like, one game at a time, man. I can't keep up with all this.
Now, if the Eagles are on, I'll get my other TV out from the guest room, and I'll put the Eagles on the big TV, and I'll put Red Zone on the other one because I got about 10 fantasy leagues to keep up with. But
Yeah.
Even 10?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's just overkill. Do you ever win any of those?
yeah, I've won a few.
Has it ever come down to you're playing someone and you have the guy on their one of your other teams?
Usually at that point, I like look at the league and I'm like, okay, like what's my record? Can I afford to lose in this league? Or like what is the buy-in? You know, like do I win more money in this league versus this league? I get real analytical with it, but oh geez, here we go.
Yeah, you saw it too.
Yeah, geez, here we go. I love Justin Herbert, but you're not gonna hear me say that. Brandon Staley has a lot to prove as the coach before we go ahead and say the Chargers. Chargers need to get in the playoffs first.
They've never even won a championship, right? I'm not wrong in this, right? I feel like, that seems like they've never won anything. So, hey, I guess it's their year.
That's your team, man. You got to have that high hope, right?
Yeah, right.
But number 9 hitter, it sounds like we've all left off our catcher. So
probably because we all have the same one.
Yeah, it's probably Yogi Berra. Yeah, give me the guy that won 10 World Series titles. Thanks.
Oh my
11 All-Star games, 3-time MVP, 285 batting average, not bad for a 9th spot. And his son also played for the Pirates.
And, you know, he was the catcher for 10 World Series rotations. So,
yeah. Yogi Bear.
What do they say? Once is an accident, twice is a habit. What's 10 times?
Yeah, right.
An occasion.
Yogi Berra has the greatest.
What do you say now? I didn't click on it. Oh my gosh!
Chargers will be making the playoffs this season and making it for the Super Bowl and winning it. Who's their quarterback?
Justin Herbert.
Herbert. Huh. Okay. Yogi Berra for me. Also, if not for his great saying, he said, "What is it? Baseball is 90% mental, and the other half is physical." It's a great saying.
Which is true.
Yeah, he's got a lot of greatness.
That's one of them things you never understand unless you actually played baseball.
Right. Go ahead, though.
Hold on. I may have some breaking news. I'm making.
Did your Cardinals get Juan Soto?
Okay, never mind. It's not official. Never mind. I thought it was about to happen.
All right, so it's Liberatore and Carlson got to be in the deal, right?
Carlson for sure, I would think. Liberatore, I think just because of his couple of starts in the majors, that might sour the deal for. I think people are not as interested in Liberatore as much as others would expect. Jordan Walker, who's supposed to be top 5 prospects in MLB, is supposed to be in the deal too. And I know, Josh and Brandon, the CEO of VSN, there a lot of people, Cardinals fans, are like, "Oh, I don't want to trade Jordan Walker because he's supposed to be the next great thing." And I'm like, "Listen, we've already had this. We've had this discussion, and not to detour too much, but I was looking at the Cardinals' top 10 prospects from the last 10 years, and I think there's one player who's done well, and that's Dylan Carlson. You have Carlos Martinez, Shelby Miller. So I'm done with these prospects. I don't care. I'm not a prospect hugger. Prospects are meant to be traded. And look, Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, all these guys who are rumored to be traded, they could be the next greatest thing. But how there's got to be less than 0.5% chance or less than 50% chance that they are as good or even better than Juan Soto. There's a reason why people are calling Juan Soto the next Stan Musial, the next Ted Williams.
So do you think Juan Soto's lack of production this year has more to do with the fact that he obviously doesn't want to be in Washington?
I think it's just because pitchers aren't pitching to him. He's the only – obviously Josh Bell, but, he leads the league in walks, and I think he's just – when you're used to getting walked all the time, you're not really as sharp as you typically are supposed to be.
And to me, that's a turnoff. Like I obviously, I watch a lot of baseball. If you're asking me right now who I'd rather have, Dylan Carlson or Juan Soto, it's Dylan Carlson, man. Like
Really?
Juan Soto looks checked out, dude. Like I don't know if you've watched him play this year. The dude gives no effort in the field, so he's like Ted Williams, like that.
Yeah.
And he's batting 237 this year. Like, yeah, I do understand. We just talk about baseball's mental. You go up to the plate expecting to get walked. It's kind of depressing. But if you're supposed to be a top tier prospect, a top tier guy, you're looked at as some like elite next generation talent. You got to be locked in 100% of the time. You can't be doing this half-ass, like 3-inch leap for a ball in right field, or batting 230 when people are calling you the next Ted Williams because you're checked out now maybe him moving out of Washington would change that, because it's very obvious that he doesn't want to be there. But man, Juan Soto does not look it. He does not look any part of generational talent this year. He looks very checked out and very disinterested in baseball.
Well, I mean, he has a 404 on base percentage this year, and a 883 OPS with a 155 OPS plus. So yeah, I mean, he's still producing. It's not as productive as his like last year or the year before, but I mean, I still think that's, once you start putting him in a lineup with Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, and he's going to start seeing more pitches, he's going to go off for sure.
So let me ask you this. Speaking of Nolan, if the Cardinals miss the playoffs again with Goldschmidt playing as good as he is, say they do make a deal for Juan Soto, you think he uses his player option, gets out of that contract this year?
If the Cardinals get Juan Soto, there's no chance Nolan Arenado's leaving. If the Cardinals miss out on Juan Soto and they go another year or another deadline of just getting dumpster dives like John Lester and Jay Happ, then I think there's a 60% chance Nolan Arenado has a player option. Because I guarantee you that the Dodgers have been whispering in his ear the last 2 years. So,
yeah, and the Dodgers will be looking for a third baseman. I think Justin Turner's contract is up in the offseason.
Yeah, and they've been trying to get rid of Justin Turner for a while. So,
well, that's because they have Vargas in the minors, Rafael Vargas, ready to play third base for them in the MLB. So they're not concerned. I mean, you look at great organizations like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cardinals. People can sit there and say all they want that the Yankees buy championships. That's not true. What these organizations do, Tampa Bay Rays are included in this, is they develop players at like a rapidly elite pace compared to these other organizations. You look at the Phillies, who have drafted, I think, 7 outfielders in the first round in the last 10 years, and none of them play in the majors right now.
Yeah.
So the player development is crucial. So like you said, prospects, they're maybes, and that's what they are. But when you're an organization like the Cardinals, you can afford to fork out the prospects because you just trust the farm system and have the ability to, keep producing high-level prospects.
Yeah.
But yeah. I did hear that the Cardinals had the most MLB talent involved in their deal. So to me, the 3 names that came off the paper were Matt Liberatore, Dylan Carlson, and Nolan Gorman.
Well, yeah, I think the Nationals want to take the Cardinals deal. I think they just think that they're going to be able to squeeze more out of the Cardinals, because I know that the Padres and the Dodgers are offering a lot more prospects, but they're not nearly as highly touted as the Cardinals guys. I mean, Mason Wynn is top 100. Jordan Walker is top 5, like I said. Dylan Carlson, he's supposed to be a great guy, and Nolan Gorman.
I know Mackenzie Gore's involved on the San Diego side, so
yeah, and he's injured right now, which I guess doesn't matter for the Nationals because they're not going to win anything this year. But still,
they honestly they need to offload Bell quickly because he's in the middle of a hot streak that he's never had before, and they could get some top dollar return for him.
Well, Red Sox need to go get him, and I don't.
They need that first baseman for sure.
They've needed a first baseman for years. I don't know why they keep trying this Bobby Dahlbeck stuff, man. He showed 2 years ago that this was not his job.
That's where our Boston guy would be good.
Yeah, right. Tom, I saw a tweet about something. I saw Tom is going off on Red Sox fans. I was laughing. But yeah,
Yeah, he has some clips about him and saying a lot of stuff about Franchi Cordova. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
guess-
that like embarrassing double error play.
Oh, yeah.
I quoted him in that tweet, and I said, "I'm here if you need me, buddy."
yeah, right.
I just saw the play, and I was like, "Man alive, dude, that is embarrassing."
We talked like the day that the Blue Jays like annihilated the Red Sox, and it was the funniest thing ever. I was like,
We were in the middle of a show when that was going
Oh
down,
my
and he
gosh.
goes, "Jesus Christ."
yeah, that was a little embarrassing.
oh my gosh. Then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, we're sellers at the deadline. And
Well, that's another thing is like with these big market teams, they're never going to be true sellers at the deadline. Like I
Yeah.
talked about the last time we were on the Yankees. What was it, 2 years ago? We're 9.5 back at the deadline, and they were still buyers.
yeah. You're not allowed to be when you're the Red Sox or the Yankees. Like the Red Sox, they got Trevor Story in the offseason just because they didn't want the Red Sox fans to riot.
Man, Colorado is such an embarrassment. How did they not trade Trevor Story at the deadline last year when they knew he was not going to sign with them again?
Colorado is just dumb. I guess they spend too much time getting high ever since weed was legalized in Colorado because they are not using their brains.
Like Kyle Freeland shouldn't be there anymore. John Gray should have got dealt way before that he did. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there, man.
Well, and then they extend a reliever for 2 years. What's his name? Daniel Bard.
Yeah, Daniel Bard, who needs to be dealt, not
extended. Colorado just took him off the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and Alex Colomé, he's having a good season, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to trade him. And then they trade away Nolan Arenado, which is probably the worst deal I've ever seen. And I'm a Cardinals fan.
The Cardinals absolutely fleeced the Rockies.
Oh my gosh.
I said that, and I was like, the best return you got was a 27-year-old pitcher who showed that he's like a mid-4 ERA guy at best.
Yeah, I like Austin Gomber, but yeah, I would not even think about having him in a Nolan Arenado trade. And,
no, that whole deal I was like, good.
And then the fact that we got $50 million back from the Rockies for that was just crazy.
You know, if that's the type of offers they're taking for their top tier guys, maybe they shouldn't be trading anybody.
Yeah,
I
right.
retract everything that I just said.
Yeah. But yeah, and then they let Trevor Story go, and then they go and sign Chris Bryant, who's not nearly as good as Arenado and not nearly as good as Trevor Story, in my opinion.
I wasn't a big Chris Bryant fan.
Yeah, he's good. He's just, I don't know, he's kind of a head guy. Like,
I don't know, maybe because he was a Cub.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, Adam, by the way, sorry about the brooms this weekend, brother. We needed it, though.
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck, Adam? Like, the Pirates needed to sweep the Phillies right now. That's all I need. I just need.
No.
Listen,
I need
they
the
got
Cardinals
bombed.
I'll tell you what, man. The Phillies are only going to get better too. We're missing our two best hitters, so
yeah.
And they're supposed to be coming back middle of the month, right?
No, Segura is going to be back next week.
And then
Harper's
what, the following week or something?
Harper will be back at the end of August, I think, end of August.
As long as they're in the playoff, as long as they're in the playoffs right now, like with the standings, I don't think they're going to rush Harper back at all.
No, they'll keep him out as long as he needs to be out. But he'll get the pins removed this week and then start his rehab.
But you guys got Edmundo Sosa, so you got to be pretty excited about that.
No, that was a stupid deal. I was like, what? Like I put out on Twitter, I said the Phillies acquire Edmundo Sosa for JoJo Romero in a deal that makes no sense for the Phillies. I was like, what? I was like, we're shopping pitchers and we're trading for defensive, strong shortstop. I was like, we already have a shortstop. I was like, as a matter of fact, we have two and one of them we need to get rid of.
Yeah, right.
Well, the Mets get a little stronger this weekend on Tuesday, huh?
Yeah, for like 5 games, and then he'll be
hurt. And then he's gonna get injured.
You think?
DeGrom will go down as the biggest what if in MLB history.
Well, he's so good, and then these guys throw way too hard, and I always talk about the Sandy Koufax story. Like the beginning of his career, he threw so hard, and he had no control, and you can see like his ERA was up, his FIP was up, his ERA, all his stats were up. And then one of the guys said, hey, if you take a couple of, if you let the velocity go down a tiny bit and you just work on your control, then you'd be so great. And he had always been injured because he threw so hard. And then he took a couple ticks off, and then he became one of the greatest pitchers of all time in like 5 seasons. And then he had to retire because, he got, because of the fact that he was throwing so much, so hard in his early years. And so I think guys like Jacob deGrom, Jordan Hicks for the Cardinals need to like learn that, say, hey, take a step back and just work on your control. Because listen, it doesn't do anyone any good when you throw 105 miles an hour or 102. I think that's what Jacob deGrom goes at. And you get injured after 2 innings. So
I saw him throw a 96 mile an hour slider in a game.
oh gosh, that's so nasty. I mean, but yeah, the thing is Jacob deGrom has control over all his pitches.
Yeah.
And
The best pitch in baseball since 1883 has been a well-placed fastball. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
So speaking of back in 1883, I went with Walter Johnson.
Yeah, you got to go big train there. Very obvious, all-time leader.
But I wanted to bring something up because we were talking about it. He won 3 Triple Crowns,
and he's also the all-time leader in career shutouts with 110.
110,
Fun fact.
yes.
Fun fact.
3,500 strikeouts too.
Clayton Kershaw has the lowest career ERA of any starting pitcher since Walter Johnson retired 95 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, you got 417 wins.
They called him
2
Big Train.
MVPs.
That's my reason for picking him. Pretty sick, badass nickname.
But I just thought it was funny because we were talking about the Triple Crown not really being around, and this guy's won 3 of them as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And he's probably dead, and then they come up with the Triple Crown, and he's like, "Damn, I won 3 of those."
And what would pitchers be for?
ERA, strikeouts, and wins.
Yeah. Which it's hard now with wins because
Speaking of wins, do you think Justin Verlander goes back to Houston in the offseason?
I hope not.
Dude, that guy, speaking of guys that know how to control their fastball, you know that like his first 3 innings, his like average fastball velocity over like the last 5 years of his career is slower than the 7th through the 9th by
That's
about
the way he
1.5 miles per hour.
That's the way he trains. Did you ever
Dude,
see a Justin Verlander
is-
workout?
Yeah, Verlander is a beast, dude.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like seriously, did you ever watch one?
Yeah, I've watched a few of his workout videos.
It like trains you to throw stronger as the game goes on.
That dude's nuts, man. His curveball's been so elite for so many years. His fastball's been good. Like
I'm surprised he went back to Houston, honestly,
not.
just because I figured the Yankees were going to offer him money and the Angels also because I think he's an Angels fan. At least that's what Ben Verlander is.
yeah, I think they grew up in LA, so I think they are Angels fans.
Yeah. But man,
The revival that he's had this year. I wonder if he'll ever get a multi-year contract because he's 39 years old.
well, yeah, he says he wants to. I mean, Nolan Ryan is his hero, and he wants to pitch until he's 45 at least. So,
I mean, looks like he can do it.
yeah, I mean, he's still got great velocity, great stuff. I mean, so.
I wouldn't mind if the Phillies threw $25 million a year at him in the offseason.
I kind of want the Cardinals to go after him because, but I want the Cardinals to go after everyone basically.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel with the Phillies. Is I kind of
$25 million. That's over 3/4 of our payroll here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, right.
I mean, if you would put Seager, Simeon, and Verlander together, they'd make more than the whole Pirates payroll.
Yeah, gosh. Oh my
in
gosh.
In 1 year.
The Pirates. Did you know that who was it that they traded?
Vogelback?
No, the Dodgers back in like 2017, they traded
the
O'Neal
pitcher?
Cruz. Yeah, for Chris, is it Chris Martin or was it? No, it's not Chris Martin.
Was it Russell Martin?
Yeah, it was the catcher, Russell Martin.
Was it Russell Martin? I thought it was a
Yeah.
pitcher, a
No,
reliever.
Russell Martin.
Well, you mean the one that went to jail, Rodriguez?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, dude, what an idiot.
Wow.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was the lefty.
Yeah.
He was the closer at the time.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, I saw a video the other day talking about the 2017 trade deadline, and they said the Dodgers traded a low A prospect named O'Neal Cruz to the Pirates, and I thought, oh my gosh, how great would O'Neal Cruz be in the Dodgers right now? And then I kind of want the Pirates to go out and do something. I mean, they have a good couple of players. They just need to add to it. And
I think Quintana will be dealt by the deadline.
oh, he has to be.
Yeah, there's a couple teams interested in him right now, from what
the
I was
Phillies,
hearing.
actually.
I'm still not sold on Quintana. I saw the Cardinals are kind of trying to be in on him, but I don't like him.
We just need a fifth starter and an innings eater until Eflin gets back.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably wouldn't take much.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the Phillies farm system, the whole organization's so depleted in the minors. Like Painter's not going anywhere, Abel's not going anywhere. So those are really the only two valid pitching prospects we have.
Yeah.
I like Scott, how he's up, or Stout.
Stott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you say it?
Stott.
Bryson Stott.
Yeah.
Bryson
Stott. He's
Was his best friend from Las Vegas.
Man, I really thought that Vegas thing was going to mean something when Chris Bryant hit the market. I was like, dude, if Bryce Harper can get Chris Bryant to come to Philadelphia, I was like, I'm good with that.
Isn't Knebel from Las Vegas also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I did pick Joe Page as my closer.
Yeah, me too.
Sure. Me too.
But, I mean, to be fair, if it's between Joe Page, fresh out of the bullpen, and Walter Johnson, 130 pitches through 8, I'm going with Walter Johnson.
Yeah.
Let's make that very clear. This whole closer thing, take back seat, buddy.
Joe Page had 27 saves and 49, I think.
Yeah, he had more than half of his career saves in one season or something like that. I was like, yep, that qualifies.
Yeah, I was in. I was like, all right, cool.
You probably found him the same way I did. I Googled the 1949 Yankees roster.
Oh, I Googled AL All-Star breakdown, and it broke down all the stats. I was like, all right, cool.
We didn't mention Cy Young.
No, I had Cy Young up there. I think Walter Johnson and Christy Mathewson are honestly the two best pitchers of that era.
They're 1 and 2 on most of the pages I looked at. When I did my Giants interview, I did have Christy Mathewson on my number 1 pitcher, so I knew a little bit about him going into it. I didn't know anything about Walter Johnson, so
yeah.
Until I read on him, and I was like, "Yep, that's my guy." It's hard to pass him up once you see the stats.
Yeah, right.
Logan, are you on Twitter?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I am.
I think so.
I honestly, I didn't get on Twitter until I joined VSN, and then Brandon was like, "Oh, you got to be on Twitter." I was like, "Okay, fine." If I can remember how to get on here, yeah, at Logan Stone 96.
Cool.
So, me with the great and powerful Gordo, and also my father. But yeah, Ryan, you need to come on VSN for a couple days and talk some baseball with us. We just got done interviewing some of the national guys, and so we're We like that. We like talking to guys about their teams. Adam needs to come on. Of course, Adam, you're coming on Tuesday, right?
I might. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I know Tom was talking about it. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
man,
if I
I'm-
am. I'm supposed to get a Top Golf.
Top Golf. It's a trade deadline.
Yeah.
Brian, you
I've
need
never
to come
been
too.
there before. My buddy was like, "I'm dragging you away from the computer. You're going out. It's half off." So I was like, "All right, as long as you're paying, I'm in."
Yeah.
He could have dragged you away on a Wednesday, not the trade deadline.
Yeah, right. Not the most important day in baseball.
I might jump on
the
from my
entire
phone.
year.
I might jump on from my phone, so you might see some golfing while you're at it.
To be fair, the trade deadline ends at 4 p.m., so you can go Top Golf after that.
It's 6 on the Eastern.
Oh yeah,
And oh my gosh.
I forgot because for the last 7 years I lived in New Mexico, so
it's so bad now. I don't understand why it's so late. Like I think last year it was 12 o'clock Central.
yeah, it was super early.
Is that because they took out all that weird thing afterwards? They got rid of that little trade deadline thing afterwards.
What?
Is that why they
Oh.
extended it?
Yeah.
Probably. Ken Rosenthal was talking about it yesterday on the Fox game, and I wasn't listening.
Did y'all hear the MLB's lightly exploring the idea of making draft picks tradable?
I would love that.
See, to me in baseball, if I'm a GM and somebody throws in a first round pick, that doesn't really mean anything to me
Yeah.
because the chances that first round pick actually turns into something, in baseball is nothing. So
The only way it would matter is if you're a top
if you're a
if you're-
top five
yeah.
pick.
like the Pirates or the
Well, and even then,
Rangers.
it's not a guarantee. My favorite pitcher ever in college was Mark Appel. Look how that turned out.
I don't even know where he's at.
He's actually in Philadelphia as a relief pitcher.
Oh, that's right. You just
He was drafted in the top 5 twice, once by the Pirates.
Well, Ryan, just to let you know, I guess you just got an invite from the VSN guys on Tuesday if you wanted to.
Yeah, we're going live for the trade deadline. Then we're going to go in at 8 Central time. Look at me plugging my own show on somebody else's network.
You're allowed, buddy.
And we're doing a recap of the trade deadline. Me, Josh, Tom, I believe. Gina might be coming on. Ryan is coming on. He has no choice in the matter anymore. I think Brandon and I.
I sit at home and go to school full time, so I really don't have much going on for me. I'll come on. I guess I'll clear my really busy schedule.
Yeah, right. Oh, for little old us, yeah.
Done.
But yeah, Brandon and I should be going on at going live for the up to the trade deadline.
You said 8
3:30
p.m.
Central.
Central?
Yeah, 8 p.m. and then we're going live 3:30 Central, till about 5:30 to live react to all the trades.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, you're invited to both, and then we are going on far into the. I almost said far into the spectrum. They're on my own channel. I don't know how to call them. Far into the bench. Good Lord, they're hard to say.
To be fair, far end of the,
Yeah,
the
right.
brain just fills in the sentence.
Those are the Denver guys, right?
Yeah, Denver. So, yeah. It should be all fun on Tuesday
Look
night.
at me, Logan. I just let you get a free plug.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Just shoot me a DM on Twitter or whatever. We'll link up after this.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to help people grow, Logan. You know that.
I've been trying to tell you. I'm trying to help you grow too. Don't worry.
I know.
But
that's the
yeah,
one thing. I've
so
noticed.
that's my downfall. I might go to Top Golf. I've never been there before. My
if
buddy's
you choose
let's
Top
go
Golf over me, I'm gonna kick your ass. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, if he said he was buying free drinks and shit, I'm in.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
See that we were missing crucial details there.
Yeah. So
if he's paying for your beers, then
it's not a date, but I haven't seen him too probably in about
he's
3
taking
months.
you out to dinner, buying you beers. You gotta give him a reach around. At least.
I was gonna say,
We're good on that.
if he starts buying you whiskey, then you're gonna have to start filling him up a little bit. Maybe start getting your finger a little bit dirty. Don't forget to spit on it first.
Do a prostate check.
Get that lube going.
Turn your head and cough. Ugh.
All right, are we ready to close up shop?
I don't know. I think I have a couple other things that you need to say, or I need to say, but I can't even think of it right now.
So Aaron, I mean Ryan, I just saw that Aaron Judge became in second place behind Ryan Howard. Huh? Is that what I was reading? Home runs, 200.
Yeah. Man, Ryan Howard God. I'll never
671 games
because
for
of
Judge.
what Ryan Howard became. I'll never forgive the Phillies for not trading Jim Thome about 3 years earlier.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad about that. Ryan Howard.
He would have been a Hall of Famer if you think about it, because he probably would have had about 90 to 100 more home runs than he did. So he'd have been sitting right around 460.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel so guilty about Ryan Howard. It's not like the Cardinals actually injured him, but I mean that was
Well, I mean he's from St. Louis, so it's just probably a soft spot.
well, yeah. And I remember the Cardinals were talking. I think he was a free agent after 2011, right? And so.
Yeah.
The Cardinals were talking about getting him if Albert left. So and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll take Ryan Howard. And then it turned out to be like a career-ending injury right there. Well, he came back a little bit after, but not much.
He wasn't the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys just saw this, the Deshaun Watson stuff or whatever.
That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's big announcement, right?
Yeah, the 9 a.m. is what they're saying, but
it's already
right.
The decision's already out. They're just waiting to break the news with it.
Yeah, so it's the rumor is that Watson's side offered, to have Deshaun be suspended 6 to 8 games, and then the NFL wants a significant fine and a 12-game suspension. So,
yeah,
who's going to win?
neither of them, because it should be a year. But oh my God.
Another year.
At least a year, yeah.
Calvin Ridley got a year for
playing DFS.
Ray Rice literally never played football again after he hit a woman.
Well, that's because it was on camera.
That's really the ultimate thing. Is it's not what
wasn't Kareem Hunt on camera too?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not what we know. And we know based on the fact that the Texans are paying off 20-plus women. We know that Deshaun settled with all these women, that we can figure out that he's guilty, that he did the shit.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be paying people. But it's all about what you can prove.
Yeah. I think
money talks.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't they just say that the Browns knew when they were trading for him that they knew that they were paying him off for all that
his
stuff?
contract. If he's suspended the full season, they can opt out of the whole thing, and they only owe him like $1 million.
Well, that's all they signed him for the first year anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big. I mean, it was still a gamble, but 1 year, $1 million.
I mean, it was a gamble in the sense that if they ended up having to cut him, that they just wasted 3 first-round picks that they sent to the Texans. And on top of that, they would suck without Deshaun Watson. So those are some very valuable first-round picks.
What they signed Josh Rosen and Jacoby Brissett.
Dude, that's the greatest draft day quote ever. Is I will make 9 teams regret not drafting me.
Oh my gosh.
I saw the news on Twitter and I quote tweeted it and I said, I'll make 31 teams regret not signing me. Like, yeah, okay. That guy's a chump.
Yeah.
I thought going to Miami might have been his little jump, but no, like he would junk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my laptop's dying. My puppy hates me because I really ain't shown him attention all day. Been kind of sipping on the Pedialyte, wondering why 26 hit me like a brick shit house. But
all right, Ryan. Well, it has been fun. Logan, it has been fun. So do we want to do 70 to 90?
I mean, I think 50 to 80 would work.
Yeah.
All right.
And then do 80 to present.
We could do that. We could do
Well,
that.
I would say 80 to 2000.
Yeah.
And then get into the big stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do 50 to 80.
Yep.
And then 80 to 2000.
But yeah, it's whatever you want.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
fine. I like to be
I'll-
on I like to be on the same page. That way, we all have the same kind of notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think just with the way that talent's grown in the MLB, probably gonna have to shorten the gap a little bit. But yeah, I'd say 50 to 80, and then 80 to 2,000.
All right, we'll do 50 to 80. We'll wait for Tom and Jason to get back on the same page, and maybe we'll go early and let Billy get involved.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do. Like I said, I don't really do much, so I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
Logan, you in?
Yeah, I'm in. Whenever, just let me know.
You think we can get Josh involved?
Yeah, I'm sure Josh is gonna have some shit takes though. So that's all you. No, I'm kidding. I love Josh. Ryan, I shit on Josh all the time on the podcast, so that's why.
Him and his shine.
Yeah. Oh gosh, but yeah,
All
well,
right.
good to meet
Yeah.
you, Logan.
he would enjoy this. So
All right, so next show 50 to 80. Want to shoot for 2 weeks, guys?
Sure.
So, a trade deadline, then
I mean, it only took me realistically like an hour and a half to build this lineup, so I can wait another 2 weeks. I'm pretty good at like doing everything last minute.
all right. That way we can get through the trade deadline and get things settled down, and then we'll come back and do 50 to 80. Sound
All right,
good?
cool. Yep, sounds good to me.
All righty, boys. Well, I'm going to be signing off here, and this is shout out. Who wants to tell how to get a hold of each other first?
I'll go first. So yeah, my Twitter handle is at Ryan BSing Sports. You can follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. We actually just started up a Twitch too, so we're kind of streaming on all platforms right there. So however's easily accessible for you guys. That being said, like I said, at Ryan BSing Sports, I'm answering all questions at all hours of the day. So don't be afraid to hit me up.
All right, Logan got out of here before his little shout out.
Yeah.
Oh, hold
All
on.
right, Adam, I'll talk to you later.
All right, Logan or Ryan, take it easy, buddy. Yes, we'll reconvene here pretty soon, and I'm sure we'll be talking.
see you, Ryan.
Hey, Logan.
All right, Logan, how people get a hold of you, buddy?
Huh? Oh, you guys can get a hold of me on Twitter at LoganStone96. Also, you can see me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays talking baseball and the Cardinals on the 7th inning stretch on the VSN, that Variety Sports Network. Yeah, and you can see Adam there too sometimes, especially on Tuesday, unless he's gonna be on a date with his boyfriend. But whatever.
Dipshit. Well, maybe I'll join from my phone. All right,
Yeah, right.
and then you guys can watch me golf and laugh.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah, for
hey,
sure.
I am Sports Talking It. I'm Adam. Find me at Talking Sports with on Driving to the Top Productions, and everybody have a good night.
Yes, sir. Bye, brother.